Hi, everybody. This is Gary Demas, Sentiment Timing, and this is our technical video report for Monday, June 2nd, 2025. So, another crazy day today. We started the day down. It looked like it was going to be a trending day down, but they held support, and really what happened from there was it was just pretty much nonstop buying. But this is the SPY chart because we have this open gap here that was made last Tuesday, and then we have this wick pointing down there. Depending on whether we need to go higher and then down, this will get played out at some point. They usually always do, and these gaps are there. But we have a bunch of other reasons on it where if we make the new highs here, we're going to probably get some sell signals. And then, but the thing is that if it's going to follow this wedge right here, which is a big one, that's bringing us all the way back down into probably closing this gap if this plays out. But what it is, it looks like if it's going to follow this and come up to the top of it, we're looking at 61.54 in that range there, which is not, it's 200 points more. So it might be a little bit aggressive. But in any case, this is the wedge that I'm looking at. We have the bearish divergences. We're still pretty overbought right now as far as on the daily charts and stuff like that, but they can stay overbought. So if we're going to be looking at if this is just an ABC move, then we're looking at a move coming down to the 57.40 area, most likely coming down and closing this gap. But again, the bulls can continue to buy the dips right now, and they're doing a good job. They're winning. They're giving themselves a little bit of breather instead of just going straight up. But I still think this is getting a little bit long in the tooth as far as this. Let's say the tariff trade, where it's everybody's in, everybody's out at once, and it's it's one of the things where things are getting very, very overextended on all time frames. And as I put in the trade room today, I gave some targets that you probably could look to pick up some of the quantum stocks and stuff like that. But I'm still on cautious mode. I don't believe this is the only dip we're getting right here. And, we had this right here. Well, this is from the all-time highs from here. We came down, and we've pretty much rallied straight up besides these two moves down here. It's been almost... we're talking about 900 points with just one quick drop here, and now we're back up. So that's what makes things very extended, and it also, as well as on sentiment, everybody's pretty much bullish. So I don't know what would be the catalyst to make things turn around. There's plenty of them that could be out there. And I'm not saying to get extremely bearish on this market, just expect a pullback and be a little bit on the defensive mode. We caught the majority of the move. We got out at this gap up right here. We got in down here. So things are fine. I'll watch this last, if it's 1-2% or even 3%, it's not that big a deal to me because we made some really good profits, and I think that just the people that are pushing things and really wanting it to go higher on it, they're usually the ones that end up buying at the top and selling at the bottom, and that's why I'm just staying on the cautious side right now. So that's really about it. We're getting close to the previous highs right here. Again, the wave structure 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be our wave 5. Once this completes, it doesn't even have to go all the way up here. But once it completes, that's when we're looking at the larger pullback that will take us anywhere from 50 to 62%, maybe 38% if it's going to be a little more shallow. But as I said, we're back up to the very close to all-time highs again, and valuations are starting to get pretty extended. So it's going to be the same reasons that I was giving it back then. Institutions, once valuations get to a certain point, they start selling and they'll start lightening up on their portfolio, and that's maybe just the reason, that may be the catalyst on why this all starts. So anyway, if we head higher and they're going to complete this, look for a move coming all the way up to the 61. 40 area. On the 15-minute chart, again, we have bearish divergences from the drop to up, drop, and then back up again. And here you can see we have some sell signals. They possibly, if we continue higher, maybe they'll get worked out, and then we'll come up, either touch these highs or get a little bit up and then pull back and then head back up again, and that will form a more defined bearish divergence like we had here. But again, we have the resistance at the 59.43. If they get above it, then we're looking at a move up to the 59.70, which was the previous highs. And if they get above that, then there's a shot that we're coming up and going to test these highs here at the 61.50 level. 15-minute chart. 5-minute chart. You don't really have. Let me do this. Hang on one. Okay, we really didn't need to see those indicators. I really just use this for this pattern. So there's two possible wedges that are in play. One is this blue line right here where we're at the top of it. And this would be implying that we're going to get a move all the way back down to these levels if it breaks. But we also could be trading within this wedge right here. So if I now change this to black and then put the other one blue, and that will be the pattern that I'm looking at. So this is this would be the alternative pattern that's in play, and that would be just we're trading within this really big kind of wedge, but it's not like a tight wedge like this. But if that's the case, either they're going to blast above here and kind of wipe out this pattern, or they're going to come down, break this wedge right here, and come back down to this level here to touch the bottom of that before heading higher. It's really tough to tell because, excuse me, we're not really. It's just that it's moving so fast in both directions that you don't know. I know somebody's getting set up, whether it be the Bulls or the Bears. I kind of have a feeling it's the Bulls, but from where is the part that's a little bit difficult to figure out because there's a lot of momentum going on their side, and like I said, you don't want to try to short when momentum is this high, but you can become cautious, and that's really probably my main takeaway from this is just be a little bit cautious, have either stops in place or lock in some profits. Like I said, I've done it already. In some of the quantum stocks, they've had decent pullbacks. So I'll show you these right now, and you can see QTUM has gone from 87 and it made a low down at 83. Not that big of a move. And these are, like I said, not big moves. And I still think they may have a little bit more room on the downside. But IONQ went from 48 down to 38. So that's almost a 20% drop. And then we have QBTS, one of our favorites that made us a ton of money since we got in down here and made this thing, and we started locking in profits in this area here, even though it went higher. That's what was a little bit frustrating. But in any case, this one went from 1972 down to 1520. So again, taking profits was okay. I still think they're going to be coming down a little bit more, but that's what I'm going to go over in the trade room. I'm not going to be going over that stuff here. And then really the last one is RGTI. You can see that's come from 1522 down to 1150. So again, taking profits on, especially on these types of stocks because they move so fast, you do it. And like I said, when you think it's over, it's probably going to go a little bit deeper, and that's when we start buying these stocks. So let's just feel out tomorrow, see the way it opens. I think we'll have a pretty good idea. If they gap it open, then most likely we're going to be coming up somewhere up into this area to make that wave 5. If they come down, we got to see if they take out these lows right here, because if they do, then there's a shot that we're coming down to the 58.90. So let's not guess anything. Let's see what they give us in overnight trading, and we will go from there. And with that, actually, the fund, we didn't, in the trade room, it was another one of those. It was not a great day because we got in, and it really did the market. By the time we got in, the market just was going sideways, and I just figured we had to trade out of them. So when we were up here, I got out of the calls and held the puts, and then they ended up going, and we got stopped out. We lost, I think, a couple $100. Let me see. Yeah, we lost 225. It was nothing major, but it's still frustrating because you're looking for some type of trend to set up, but it's the same pattern that's been in play. All the movement is in the first 30 minutes or 45 or hour, where here's on on Wednesday, I think it was the 28th, where we gapped up, came straight down on it. So the whole move was being in pre-market. We came and then coming straight down on that. This one we went down and then headed up, down and headed up. So there's really isn't a trend in place, and you just have to be a little bit. It's frustrating, but this will work itself out, and we'll be back on track again to be able to make some better trades than we've made in the past couple of days. Even though they haven't been anything, we haven't been hurt really bad. It's just more of a frustrating end of things. So with that, let's see what plays out tomorrow. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys in the morning.